On today's episode of The Joy of Editing, I'm doing a mid-journey tutorial. I want to show you how to make a beautiful watercolor painting. Plus, I want to show you how I upsize those images, which are kind of on the small size, with TOPAZ Photo AI. And I want to show you my Photoshop Gigapixel upsizing workflow. So that's all coming up. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome to The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me today and Happy New Year to everyone out there in the viewing audience. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Today I just want to show you one of my favorite things to do with Midjourney is making watercolor images. And I want to show you how to do that today. This is not a full in-depth tutorial of how you sign up for Midjourney and all that kind of stuff. There's a ton of videos on YouTube on how to do all that, but I just want to show you how some of the prompting works and how we can craft a watercolor image today. And also I want to show you my upscaling method for upscaling these Midjourney images because they're very small to begin with. They definitely need upsize, and I'm going to use TOPAZ Photo AI to upsize an image, and I'll also show you my Photoshop Gigapixel upsizing workflow. So that'll come a little later in the video, but first we're going to play around with some prompting and make a watercolor image. First off, let me show you how I have my Midjourney set up. I'm in the Midjourney bot right now. And what you need to do is click on this message area here and type your / key. And when you do, you're going to see a bunch of prompts in here. Again, this is not an in-depth tutorial. The first thing I want you to notice is the Imagine prompt. You'll click on this, and then your prompt shows up in the message area. But I want to show you my Midjourney settings. So let's click on Settings, and then you have to type your return key. And when you do, you can see your settings. Everything you see in green is what I have Midjourney set for. Right now I'm in version 4. Now I find I get the best watercolor images with Midjourney version 4. Midjourney 3, I don't like them as much, but Midjourney 4 seems better. I'm using the base quality. I'm using a style of high, and I'm using beta upscale. Now beta upscale, what it does is it gives you a little higher resolution image. I'm set for the public mode. You could be set for private mode if you want to. And then also I'm set for fast mode. Now I pay $30 a month and I think I get 15 hours worth of image creation, whatever that amounts to in images, I don't know, but I've yet to exhaust it in the fast mode. Now, if you feel you're running short of your hours, and I'll show you how you can check and see how many hours you've used so far. You could switch it to relax mode. You just click on relax mode and you'll notice it says done. Your jobs now do not consume fast hours, but might take a little longer. You can always switch back with fast if you want to. I'm pretty sure when you're using relax mode, you have unlimited image making for the month. But if you use the fast mode, you could run out of time, but you could always switch back to relax if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to fast mode. And now notice what it says, done. Note that once you exhaust your fast hours, you can purchase more on the website. To conserve your fast hours, use relax to switch back to relax mode. But I find for myself, I can stay in fast mode all month and I won't exhaust my hours. Now let me show you how you can check your hours. I'm going to click right here in this message area and do a / again. And now I will click on info. If you don't see it here in the list, you might have to scroll down to find it. But here's info. I'm going to click on it, and you got to type your return key. And when you do, it's going to let you know. You can see right now and I've been making a ton of images. I still have 12.23 hours left out of 15. I have 81.55% left of image creation in the fast mode. To clear off these messages, just click dismiss message on each one of the messages, and they go away. Well, are you ready to have some fun? And don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell notification icon. Every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get a notification. And also when you do that, you're helping to support The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly because my video will be seen by a lot more people on YouTube when you do those things. The first thing I need to do is click in this area and type my / key and click on Imagine, and I'll type in a beautiful watercolor painting of a barn and a cornfield. That is my prompt, and you got to make sure that you're specific on these prompts. You don't want to confuse the AI. And then all you need to do is type your return key. and we'll let it run and see what kind of result we get with this. Now, this doesn't happen instantaneously. It takes a little bit of time for this to all happen. I sped up the video a little bit, but it could take sometimes up to 2-3 minutes, depending how long your prompt is, and of course how fast your internet connection is. Now the next thing I can do is just click on this, and when I do, the image gets a lot larger, as you can see. And I think we got some pretty cool results. I really like the first one and the fourth one here. And the images go in this order: number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Now, by default, your images will be in a square format, but we can change the aspect ratio. Now, in version 4, other than square, the only other aspect ratio I can get is a 3:2 or a 2:3, and that's generally what I will use. If I want a portrait mode, I'll do a 2:3, or if I want a landscape aspect ratio, I'll do a 3:2. Now, if I click anywhere off the image, it'll go back and you'll see my screen again. Okay, now let me show you how we can change the aspect ratio. Say I want this in a 3:2 aspect ratio. Now, I'm going to need the same prompt again, so I'm just going to come up here and copy this up to where it says "and a cornfield." I don't need to do the up beta or the style 250 because that's part of my settings. I only need what I originally typed in. So I'm just going to right click and click on copy. I'm going to come down here. Now this is very important. Come to the message area. You have to type your / key again and click on imagine so your prompt comes up. That's important because this is where you place your prompt. Now I can do a Command or Control V to paste that in there. Now here's how you change your aspect ratio. And this is all done, I believe, with like a coding type language. But you type your dash key 2 times, like dash, dash, and then type in AR for aspect ratio. You must leave a space. And now I'm going to type a 3 with a colon and a 2. Don't forget that space right there or this won't work. And now all I have to do is type my return key and it will start running the AI on this. And again, it takes a little bit of time. And now you'll notice I have 4 different versions, and they'll look different than the original versions. You notice that they're always going to be different when you run this again. And now we're in a different aspect ratio, so it's taken that aspect ratio into consideration too as it generates an image for me. Now remember, when you click on the image, it will make it larger for you. So you can really hone in and take a look at it and see which one you like. Now, of these images up here, I'm going to say the one I like the best is probably version 1. So I'm just going to click anywhere off of the image. Now remember, and this is important, the top left image is image 1, image number 2, the bottom left is image number 3, and the bottom right is image number 4, which correspond to these blocks down here. Where you see the U's, U1 through U4, if I click on any one of these, like if I clicked on U1 right now, it would upscale this image just the way it is, and that would be my final piece of art. But what if I wanted 4 more variations of this? I could click V1 to get 4 variations. And I also like this image as well, the 4th image, so I could go ahead and say, well, I really like it just the way it is. I could click U4 and go ahead and upscale it. Or I may say I want 4 more versions. So let's do this. Let me click on V1. That's going to make 4 versions. And you can see it started to generate those versions. And now I'm going to click V4. And now you'll notice I have another prompt here telling me it's generating those versions. So now all we have to do is wait. I'll pause the video and get right back to you. Now here are 4 new versions of that first image, and here are 4 new versions of the 4th image. So if I click, we can see it large and we can determine which one we like. So let's take a look, study these. And you know what? I probably like this one the best. Okay, so remember that. That was the 4th image. So let's click off of here, and I could come back here and say, I'm going to go ahead and upscale this. So I'm going to click on U4. I paused the video, and now you can see there's that image right there. That was that 4th image. So let's click on it, and now we can see it upscaled, and it looks really nice. So that one's done. Now, here's what I would do if I want to save this out and download it. All you need to do at this point is right-click on your image, and what I generally do is save the image to downloads, or I could save it as a photo in Apple Photos, or save image as and put it anywhere on the computer I want to. But I'm going to go ahead and save it to downloads. So I'm going to click Save Image to Downloads, and now I'll click off of here. So that one's saved. And then I also like this image, so I went ahead and clicked on U4 for this one, because when I generated new ones, I didn't like those as much as this one. So I went back to this one and clicked on U4, and now it is saved right here. So if I click on it, we could take a look at it up close and personal, and I really like it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and save this out. I'll just right click on it and save image to downloads, and then click off the picture. Now before I move on, let me click on this picture. Now remember, we said a barn in a cornfield. So do we have a cornfield here? Yeah, I guess you could call this a cornfield. Now it is a watercolor, and watercolors are quite abstract. So yeah, I'm going to buy that and say, yeah, it looks like a cornfield. And then on this one, this looks probably like some corn stalks here. So again, AI has a mind of its own. Now we could keep running new versions and new variations, and I'll show you another thing we could do. If I come up here, see where these 4 images are, and if I click this button right here, it'll go ahead and generate 4 new versions of a similar type image. But if I come up the whole way to where I first ran that prompt, remember the first thing I did was these 4 square barn images with a cornfield, and those cornfields look pretty cool in there, by the way. And if I come to this one where I changed it to a 3:2 aspect ratio, if I click this button, it'll generate 4 brand new different types of images. So let me go ahead and click this, and I'll show you. And now, as you can see, we have 4 different type images. And this one here looks really cool. And so if I wanted to, I'll click off this. I could go ahead and U3, and it'll generate that as a finished product. Wait, I screwed up. I actually wanted U number 2, not U number 3. This is U3. This is U2. So it's confusing sometimes, but make sure you get that order 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's U2. I'll go ahead and click it, and I'll show both U3 and U2. This would have been U3. So let me click it, and you can see pretty cool image. Really nice corn here. I think it really definitely looks like corn. I'll click off of this, and now let's click on the one I really wanted, which was U2. And that looks pretty cool too. It doesn't really look like corn, but it's a really cool image nonetheless. Now let me show you one more thing we can do with this prompt. I'm going to go ahead and copy the prompt up to cornfield. We'll copy that. We're going to come here and do the / and click on Imagine for the Imagine prompt. I'm going to go ahead and paste that, Command or Control V. I could put a comma here and say, how about painted by Van Gogh? And then I'll do my -- AR for aspect ratio, space 3:2 for 3:2. And I'll type the return key, and we'll see what kind of result we get now. Again, I sped up the video so you didn't have to wait, but now we have 4 results. Let's click on this. Now we have 4 watercolor paintings in the style of a Van Gogh. I don't know if Van Gogh ever painted watercolors, but we have a watercolor with that Van Gogh style. Now, if you look at this barn up here, it looks really cool. And I really like this one right here. I'm not going to go ahead and upscale these, but it's pretty cool. I just wanted to show you that. So anyway, what you can do is you could keep adding descriptions to these prompts. Painted by Van Gogh. Add another comment, say maybe warm golden light, comma, birds in sky, comma, horse in field. You get the idea. You can keep adding as much in there. I don't know if there's a limit, but you could keep making it more and more descriptive. But you get the idea. I have one more example for you in Midjourney, and let's do a different type of an image. How about one of a bird? I already went ahead and put the prompt in here. And the prompt is a watercolor painting of a hawk sitting on a tree, comma, soft lighting, aspect ratio 3:2. I'll type my return key, and I'll let that run. I'll pause the video, and I'll get right back. And here we are. Let's click on these 4 images and see what we got here. Well, the first image is kind of cool. The talons look a little bit weird on that one. This one looks really exciting. I like this one. I like this too, but the talons look a little funny. You know, it's AI. You get what it gives you, but you could fix things up in Photoshop. Definitely, you will, on a lot of images, have to do some extra Photoshop work on them. But you can get really creative and really craft these images. And This image looks pretty cool as well, but I like this one right here. This is the second image, so I'm going to click on U2 and we'll go ahead and upsize that, and I'll get right back with you. And it's finished rendering, so let's click on it and see what we got here. Boy, that's a beautiful watercolor image of this hawk. I really like it. I'm going to right click it and save image to downloads. And there's some other things you can do here, but I'll save these for later. Hey, if you want to see more of these type of Midjourney tutorials, please let me know in the comments section below. I'd really like to hear from you if you want me to do them. Now we're going to move into upscaling, first with Photo AI and then with Photoshop and Gigapixel AI. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to upscale this image with TOPAZ Photo AI. So here's that hawk image. I'm in my Finder, by the way, in my Downloads folder. So I'm going to click on this, and I'll right-click it and open with, and I'll just find TOPAZ Photo AI. It's right here. Simply click on TOPAZ Photo AI, and here we are in Photo AI, and it's scanning the image and seeing what it needs. And you'll notice it's done now. It didn't remove any noise or sharpen the image at all, but it did enhance the resolution. It's a small image, so I have my Photo AI to automatically upscale small images, and it upscaled it to 4246 by 2831. I'm going to go a little bit larger than that. I'm going to click 4x, and now it will upscale it to 7292 by 5196. And we could get a look at the bird here, give it a second to render out here. If I left click, you can see there's the before and here's the after. It's done a really nice job. If I click on enhance resolution, it has chosen low resolution for it, and it was a low resolution image, but I like to try the different settings here. Like graphics, I'll click on graphics and give it a second or two to render here. It's almost there. That's graphics, and that looks nice. It's a little more detailed. And let's click on natural and see what that looks like. But remember, it chose low resolution. And I don't know, I don't like that as much. And graphics looks pretty good. It's not quite as sharp with graphics. It looks more like a watercolor, which would make sense. And now low resolution, let's see what it looks like. And you know what? I do like graphics, so I'm going to go ahead and click on graphics. So it's going to upscale it to this size right here, 7792 by 5196 pixels. I'll click Save Image. It's going to put the prefix Photo AI in front of the image. It's going to save it to the original folder, and it's going to preserve its original format, which should be a PNG, as you can see right here, PNG. I'll click Save, and that'll go ahead and save it out. Here was the original image, 1948 by 1299, and now here's the Photo AI. You can see the prefix Photo AI. This really helps you to identify your upscaled images. It's not showing me the size here, but if I right-click on the image and click on Get Info, we can see that this image is 7792 pixels by 5196, and the file size is 154.6 megabytes. But you could make a nice large print out of this image right now. I went ahead and opened up my photo preview app so you can really see the quality of this image. It's a beautiful watercolor looking image, and if you printed this on like a watercolor type paper, it would be great. Now let me show you my Photoshop Gigapixel AI workflow. This image is one of the barn images that I liked, so right now it's selected because I clicked on it. If I type my spacebar, you can see what that image looks like. So it's very low res. What is it? It's 1948 by 1299. All I have to do is right click it, open with Adobe Photoshop 2023 app, and here it is in Photoshop. Now, if you'll notice at the edges, there's a little bit of a line coming up through here and here. What I generally like to do is crop this. So I'm going to type C to get up my crop tool and just pull the left side in just a little bit. Maybe pull the right side in a little bit. And I think that's going to be good. And click the little check here. And now we have our image cropped. And now to upsize this in Photoshop, come up to File, Photoshop's File. Come down to Automate. And come down to Gigapixel AI. Click on that. That'll open up TOPAZ Gigapixel AI. And now here we are in TOPAZ Gigapixel AI. And what I like to do is for AI model is toggle this on, let Gigapixel determine what it thinks it really needs. And it has chosen low res as well, just like Photo AI did for the other image. And I'm zoomed in right now to 100%. And what size are we upsizing to? 4x. which if we look down here is going to give us 7540 by 5196. You know, if I wanted to, I could click on 6x and I could go up to 11,310 by 7,794 if I wanted to make a really big print. But I'm just going to click on 4x. I think that will be sufficient. I could probably get at least a 16 by 20 or larger out of that in a print. But it is chosen for us low res. Let's try art and CG. It worked really nice in Photo AI, so let's click on that and see what kind of result we get. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we can scan around and look at different parts of the image. We have to give it a chance to update when it does that. Okay, so that's art and CG. Let's try low res. Give it a second to update. That's low res. Looks pretty similar. Let's try standard and see what kind of result we get. Now it's thinking and thinking. It's almost there. It looks maybe a little sharper in standard. I think I'm going to go with art and CG. It is an art piece, for crying out loud. And if we're satisfied with it, and it has chosen these noise suppression settings, 17, and remove blur at 36, and I think that looks good. If we wanted it sharper, we could drag this up to the right if we wanted to. But I think I'm satisfied with it. I'm just going to click apply, and that'll save this out and bring us right back into Photoshop. I'll let this process. We'll see how long this takes. And here we are back in Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and fit this to screen so you can really see it. Let me go full screen here so you can really get a good idea of how it looks. And I think it looks beautiful. A beautiful, realistic looking watercolor image of a barn with a cornfield maybe. But regardless, I think it really looks good. I really love the tree line back here and the way the watercolor looks up in the sky. The birds are kind of cool. And if you didn't like the birds, you could go ahead and clone those out. I do a lot of fixing of these images in Photoshop. Like if you didn't like some of these white speckles in here, which is part of the watercolor process, you could remove them. You know, like I could get rid of this one here with a spot healing tool or whatever. But some Photoshop work is often required. Well, there it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. By the way, this is an image I did prior to making this tutorial. It's another watercolor. Now, you don't just have to make watercolor in Midjourney. You can make any style of art that you like in there. You could do like steampunk, futuristic stuff, Van Gogh, Monet, whatever you want. Even in the style of Bob Ross, you can do all kind of stuff in there. You can even make realistic looking type photographs in Midjourney. But if you want to see more of these type of tutorials, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. Every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get a notification. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. And I'll see you all right here next time. But until then, as always, happy editing.